It really is a form of emotional manipulation and abuse. It's really a red flag. If you're new in a relationship and somebody is giving you the silent treatment. Hi, this is Jim Breon, and welcome to this YouTube channel where we talk about all things mental health. Today, I want to talk about something that a lot of people experience in toxic relationships, and that's something called stonewalling or the silent treatment. When it comes to the elements in a relationship that are most toxic, it really does come down to stonewalling is one of the most damaging things that can happen in a relationship. And it often shows up in the form of this silent treatment. So what is the silent treatment? I mean, I'm sure everybody has experienced it at one point or another. It's when another person just shuts down and stops talking because they're upset about something. They are communicating their anger through this kind of brooding silence. So by definition, that's what we call passive-aggressive behavior. This is when somebody can't really express their needs. Maybe they don't have the tools to talk about what they really need. The unfortunate thing is it's really, really damaging to relationships. What the silent treatment ends up being is a form of punishment. This is kind of an infantile way of somebody punishing another person by withdrawing and not communicating. And it really is a form of emotional manipulation and abuse. It's the person often taking the stance of a victim, that, you know, you've done something so bad that I'm not even going to talk to you. And it's often a form of manipulation, trying to be in the one-up position, which is grandiosity, and often has an attempt to disempower you. It's punishing you with silence. What happens is the person might just ignore you, walk by you and not say anything or not answer questions, or maybe if they do answer questions, they'll be with one-word answers. Yes, no, I don't know. They'll do passive-aggressive things, like if you ask them, do you know where I put my keys? They won't say anything, but they'll just grab your keys and sit them in front of you and then walk away. And often, really, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get an emotional reaction out of you. They're trying to either get you to do something or apologize, but this can be a form of power and control. And it often is a form of gaslighting as well. Because if you are sitting in your head and your own thoughts, ruminating about, why is this person doing this? What did I do? You might question everything and start thinking, well, maybe I did something wrong. And you really start to doubt yourself. And it can be an abusive tactic. It's sort of like the adult version of a child holding their breath until you give them what they want. The silent treatment communicates disrespect, disapproval, and it can lead to the other person becoming angry or feeling guilty, powerless, intimidated, and invisible. It's a very immature coping mechanism, much like a tantrum. Often this happens because the person giving the silent treatment lacks interpersonal skills. They don't know how to communicate their needs in a healthy adult way. And they might have problems regulating their emotions, especially anger. They either hold on to their anger or they explode. You'll see the silent treatment a lot in narcissistic relationships. Narcissists use this a lot, especially covert narcissists, where they kind of they operate from offending from the victim stance. So that's a pretty common strategy, the silent treatment. And maybe they won't talk to you directly, but they might talk to you through other people. It's sort of that, can you please tell so-and-so that what they said was, you know, they'll triangulate. That's sort of a form of triangulation. And it draws in other people. And unfortunately, if that dynamic continues in a relationship, it's eventually going to lead to its demise. It's a really unhealthy thing that really should not be accepted in any kind of relationship. It's really a red flag. If you're new in a relationship and somebody is giving you the silent treatment, you might want to think very long and hard about whether you want to continue that relationship, because ultimately you can only change your behaviors. You can't change another person's behaviors. If you're experiencing that in a relationship, you have to have very clear boundaries. Let people know that that's not acceptable behavior. And if it continues, sometimes you need to leave. What you don't want to do with someone who's giving you the silent treatment is give in to their silent, passive-aggressive demands. And what you don't want to do is get caught up in your head trying to figure out, what did I do to cause this person? That's personalizing this. And you don't want to take this personally, because the silent treatment is not about you. It's about the other person's lack of skill with communicating and maybe even their personality traits, like narcissism. Sometimes you can ignore the behavior and people will get over it. It'll blow over. But a lot of times that doesn't happen. First of all, you have to remain calm and not act in the same way. And you don't want to give the other person the silent treatment. But what you can do is you can ignore bad behaviors. So you don't want to give in and react the way that they are trying to get you to. You don't want to beg and plead for them to please talk to you. And you don't want to ever apologize if you have nothing to apologize for. One really effective strategy that you can use with someone who's giving you the silent treatment is to just let them know, if you can't communicate the problem, I can't help you. That communicates that you want to solve the problem, you want to help, but if they're silent, you can't help them. And sometimes that will really disarm somebody and allow them to open up a little bit. Or you could rephrase that like, if you can't communicate the problem, how can I help you? You want to let the person know that you don't condone the behavior, however, and make that very clear. So a lot of it comes down to modeling healthy adult communication. If this is something that happens a lot in a relationship, I think you want to really encourage that person to get into therapy and start to work on communication skills, maybe do some cognitive behavioral therapy or some DBT, dialectical behavior therapy, because this is a dynamic that eventually is going to ruin your relationship. And it's not something that should ever be accepted and become commonplace in a relationship. You have to remember that you can't change the other person's behavior. You can only change and be responsible for your own. I hope this helps a little bit understanding what the silent treatment is, how it affects people, and what the purpose is for it, and some strategies for dealing with it. So I encourage you to like and subscribe to the channel, sign up for notifications so you can find out when new material is coming out. And leave a comment and let me know what you think and if you have any questions. And I'll look forward to chatting with you again later. Take care.